Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the main channel. This is your boy SCGRANT here, and well, by the heavens, we have finally made it. We have finally got our first hands-on pretty much how I say our first look at BEASTARS, the final season. Well, let me give you straight on this one. I did not expect this final season to ever see the light of day, man, because ever since then, the last time I reviewed BEASTARS was God knows how long. Because I never thought I would ever get this show pretty much, back into my mind whenever it comes to giving my personal thoughts about it. But the fact of the matter is, it was finally here. It was announced that we were going to get a final season. But what you didn't know, or probably you should have known, was the fact that this season was going to split into two parts. Because, well, it's not what I expected. That fact is that the first two seasons was mostly the high school saga of all things, as it covers the book. But the fact is that this season is going to be 24 episodes long. So when in early December of last year that they were able to finally get this season out, it was only the first half of it. So yeah, that was pretty much how I said my legitimate gripe, was that they were only gonna release in the first 12 episodes out of 24. So yeah, this season's overall episode number has been doubled. So we're expecting more out of this. I mean, I did not expect it. So funny enough, I actually got to watch this not when it first came out. I actually ended up having to watch it at least in the beginning of March. Like in the beginning of this month, I had to sat down and got to watch it on Netflix. I did not expect it to be 12 episodes. I thought it'd be all of it so that I can finally give you my full coverage. But because that this is actually going to be part of a 4-part video discussing the final season, as I've already done the first 2 seasons already on this channel, it makes sense that I hop into it. So, if you have not, I'll give you a quick recap of what happened last time. Last time on BEASTARS, Legoshi finally beat Sid. Like, he had to give Legoshi Sid to eat his foot and be able to try to use the power of primal instincts to try to beat Sid and apprehend him, and which he did. However, it comes at a cost. Even though we found Ted's killer, which is his own friend Sid, it costed Legoshi to be pretty much expelled from Cherryton High School. Like, that's just crazy. Like, Louise had to vouch for him, like, yo, I needed his help, bro. It was the only way to put an end to it. Like, that was one arc was completed, but the only issue is that this led Legoshi to basically no longer pretty much be a high school dropout. So yeah, that's why in the opening of this new final season that Legoshi ends up in an apartment, because this guy was still 17 at that time, man. That was crazy. Like, it was no factor. One of the things that I hoped that they would have mostly made sure kept adding to the book was the fact that the new characters, like I said before, by the time that this season has started, we know that most of the side characters were not gonna be no longer relevant. But if they were most likely gonna be for exposition, because once again, by the time pretty much most of the seniors at Cherryton High have graduated, like, this is basically, as I stated in one of the episodes, was the beginning of a new year. But it comes at another cost. Because of what happened with Ted and the many instances involving herbivores and carnivores, the whole school's getting segregated, meaning they're splitting between both sides. Like, are you serious? Like, even the drama club is getting the heavy weight on this, because like, they got a lot right on their shoulders, and the fact that without their boy Legoshi, he's gone, bro. And what's even more is that by the time Legoshi got expelled from Cherryton High, let's just say that we know of his best friend Jack. The boys were basically in their dormitory rooms, and all of a sudden Jack is called, and it's actually from Legoshi's grandfather. Yeah, Gosha. If you have not, like I said, if you have not read the book, then please go read it, or pretty much read the manga, go and read it, because we all know how this all ends. But how it was adapted into the animation. That's where it kicks off. Because we do know that once you get expelled, they're gonna refund the tuition on Legoshi for the new year. Because once again, I did not expect it to come this way. Like, Legoshi's struggling even in this new apartment. This to the point that one of the neighbors showed up, known as Seven, tried to tell him, yo, calm it down. But it turns out he's going through, once again, he's trying to live without any meat, because once again, he's the main character that's trying to avoid that point. That's why he eats other stuff that isn't meat. But he had to resort to doing that in order to figure it out. One of the things that Legoshi is just in new life is that he had to get a job at a new restaurant. Like I said, the owl owner was able to get him on the spot. I'm like, okay. And he said it's one of his best employees. Like, okay, good. So yes, not only did we come across some new characters, but we come across some familiar faces, even backstories that led up to Legoshi who he is now. Because boy, I got lots to talk about in part 2, man, because part 2 is going to drop in deep. But we do know is that I had some theories about this whole ordeal with Ted, and the fact he was killed by Sid, her was carnivores, that, something's going on in their city. Something's going on. Like, we know that the Shishigumi is also involved, but there has to be a reason to why we just eat each other. It had to be a way to find out. That's where we're getting introduced to not only Legoshi's grandfather Gosha, but his old friend Yaya. As I'm gonna refer to him as Yaya, I'm gonna nickname called Yaya, is actually a horse, like, and this man is throwing hands. This man actually works for the police department, and he read Legoshi's file. Once again, recalling the events of season 2. And it was crazy because, yeah, it turns out in order to put an end to all this, like, because one of the things that made me figure it out was the fact is that the whole term of the word BEASTARS, or in plural BEASTARS itself, means law and order. It's just strange that Legoshi went from being your typical high school student to basically a different person already. The moment he steps out to the open world as a high school dropout, it's more weight on it. Not to say for Louise though. Louise was thought to be the Shishigumi's new boss, but no, we got a new player joining up. But that'll also be explained in season 2. Because once again, the first 2 seasons was most likely the school arc, and now with the final season, we step into uncharted territory, meaning that there's gonna be a lot to unpack when it comes to doing this review overall. Because once again, there's lots to unpack here that it'll take so long to do. Because once again, we got other videos to work on though. But if you can pretty much tell from my tone, I'm kinda got a bit of a running nose. So, it's gonna take a while for me to get that off my chest. My message anyway. But yeah, BEASTARS final season is finally here. Like, it just came out in early December, but I got to watch it in early March, so it's basically a few months after it was released. I wanted to give some time to breathe and others to think about it. By the time I finally got sat down and watched it, it was good. However, it come as another cost. I watched it on March 7th, and originally I was gonna watch watch part 1 again of all episodes of part 1 of the final season again the next day to try to get down notes. Unfortunately, Netflix cop blocked me, and basically I've been locked out unless I have a temporary code to get back in. Because once again, the Netflix account that I'm using is not actually mine. It was my brother's, but it has my profile on there, so I can actually watch my shows. And the fact is that there were many other shows that I want to take a look at. But once again, BEASTARS take priority. And because the show itself is jam-packed with it. One of my things that I actually, as I delved into it, was that something big was going on in Legoshi's hometown, in the city that Legoshi resides in. Something's going on, sinister. Something involved around pretty much what's been happening. Why are the carnivores going down on the herbivores? Like, it should not be like this. We still got the whole black market thing to worry about. But the fact of the matter is that pretty much all that you know from the first 2 seasons are pretty much up and gone. Most of the side characters you saw from the first 2 seasons are now pretty much relegated to the background. Now we're focusing on those who graduated from them, and even Legoshi. Most notably Haru, who's also graduated, and now she's studying botany at a university. But let's just say, once again, there's one thing you never forget, is those 2. Yep, Legoshi and Haru are still a thing, and even Juno got some spotlight, but the fact of the matter is that she would also end up irrelevant. But once again, I don't know. You'll have to watch part 2 of my overall thoughts on BEASTARS the final season, because part 2 is gonna be jam-packed with so much going on that I just can't explain it all in one video, in this video, because there's a lot to it. This is basically my first time watching it. I only got to watch the full part 1 of this overall once, and I want to try to do it again for the sake of this video. But once again, Netflix cop blocked me, and now I have to get a temporary password from my own sibling to make sure I get back in, so I can actually give you more details about this. But anyway, this is your boy SCGRANT, and I'm hoping to see you all in part 2 of BEASTARS, the final season.